From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast with Scott Sander.
Welcome to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast. I'm Scott Sander. On this episode,
we're getting started with the story of the B-Corp movement, what it is, and how Next Studios became the first B-Corp member in Indiana. Courtney Kincaid looks at the growing of the next generation of CPAs and a look at the menswear industry focused on a local clothier.
Every business is unique and has a target audience. If you own or manage a business, Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble, offering best-in-class results, service, and support to reach a bigger customer base, allowing you to pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. Get outside the city, the state, span the globe. Put Circulus Digital Media to work for you. Get started now at circulusdigital.com. That's circulusdigital.com.
John McDonald is managing entrepreneur of Next Studios at 16 Tech in Indianapolis.
Next Studios is a startup studio or innovation studio. Our job is to help primarily underserved founder communities get started with new business ideas. The structure of the studio, though, is a little bit unusual. Kind of think it might be first of its kind in that startup founders, particularly those from underserved founder communities, don't always have the resources to be able to avail themselves of top shelf services when it comes to helping them with their startup. So what we do is we do innovation consulting and other work with established corporations and sometimes communities, helping them with their entrepreneurship and innovation issues. And then we use the resources that we get from those engagements to provide benefits to startup founders at no charge to them. We do this primarily through what's called a benefits corporation or a B-Corp. And that enables us to be able to sort of use some of these sort of Robin Hood style resources in favor of helping others who don't necessarily have the same advantages. A B Corp, or sometimes called a benefits corporation, is a new type of corporate structure which, among other things, you're required to declare a public benefit for the existence of your company in your charter when you charter with the state. Ours happens to be advancing entrepreneurship in Indiana. And then when you gather resources from your regular operations, you're sort of compelled as a leader of the company to use some of them in service of the public benefit. And when you do, they become sort of tax deductible. So it's something like a cross between a charity and a regular company. It's really a way for you to wear on your sleeve what you care about as a company. And that can be very attractive to employees. It can be attractive to customers. And certainly is in line with trends today where people want to do business with and work for companies that align to what it is that they care about. Well, Peggy, I'm really glad you asked that question. A lot of what came of Next Studios began with some conversations with some founders from these underserved founder communities. Black, Latino, women, rural, LGBTQ, just about everybody, frankly. Most people in Indiana fall into one of those categories or more. And really trying to understand what was holding them back from becoming an entrepreneur. The two things that we found consistently when we engaged with them was I didn't think that I had what it took to be an entrepreneur, or I don't have the access to the resources or the knowledge or some combination of that I need. Well, as you know from your own travels and conversations, what it takes to be an entrepreneur is much less than what most people think it is. It's the courage to take action on an idea right now. And it's in no way, shape, or form how much money you have or what you know or where you went to school or any of those things, right? So what we wanted to do was start to develop programs that would enable them to gain confidence not only in the ideas that they had, but also in themselves. And also provide some vehicles for funding so that they could overcome some of the barriers to entry if you don't have relatives or friends or a bank account that can invest in what you are because of just who you are. That led to the creation of something called Discovery Workshop, which is something we do routinely. We did one here at 16 Tech a few weeks ago, in Fort Wayne just last week. And it's really a lean startup boot camp. It's designed to help the founders understand what problem they're solving, who is affected by that problem, what they should charge for it. It's a pretty important business basics. It's not about creating a pitch deck. It's more about creating a business model that works and gives them confidence. And we partnered with the Central Indiana Community Foundation to create an impact fund, which is a venture fund that uses philanthropically donated money to the fund. And that gives entrepreneurs the ability to tap capital very early in the process, particularly those who have not done it before. All those things are sort of tools that we have in the tool belt to help those underserved founders, all of which is offered at no charge to them. Well, depending on who you read, what report you read, we're either 47th or 49th in America in the percentage of our population that works in startup companies. That's a problem because the Kaufman Foundation in Kansas City and others have uncovered that it's really new businesses that are the creators of new jobs in the American economy. All the job roles since 1977 have been created by businesses less than 5 years old. So if you're 47th or 49th and that's the only creator of new jobs, that's a big problem for our state. And it accounts for why there's so many people ranging from the Indiana Economic Development Corporation on down to counties and localities and regions that are all leaning into heavily what to do about that. And so what we've really been trying to work on very hard with our studio and with our activities is how do we reach out to people that are just simply don't have a seat at the table, they're not enfranchised. And if you're in a small town in Indiana, we really need you to take that idea and turn it into a business, because that's the creator of new jobs, that's the creator of stability, that's the creator of people that want to stay in that community and live and work and thrive, and we need that all over the place. And so if you're thinking that you have a great idea, and we all do, everybody has them all day long, and you're thinking about turning that into a business, we need you to do that and realize that it's only successful thing that it takes is that intentionality, that courage, and the support of people around you to help you make it happen.
Time now for our weekly tips on accounting and bookkeeping. This week, Courtney Kincaid, President and CEO of the Indiana Society of CPAs, speaks to the need of growing the next generation of her profession.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
CPAs aren't unique in that we have a shortage of professionals, right? I know that we can say that about pretty much any profession right now, but particularly so in our profession when we look at the demographics of who makes up our practitioners. We, for the last 10 plus years, have really been focusing on diversity, equity, and inclusion, so the whole journey. But one of the programs that we're really proud of is the InkPass Scholars Program. The InkPass Scholars Program really focuses on ethnic minorities who are at the high school level, so either juniors or seniors, who have an interest in accounting. And a lot of times their interest is a little bit skewed. They might not understand what CPAs do. And so for the longevity and the betterment of the profession, we've really focused on changing misperceptions, having a better understanding of a lot of these students are first generation college students. So what does it take to go to college? What does it look like? Matching them with scholarship opportunities, but also visiting colleges and universities to see what might be a good fit. Kind of bridging that gap into I'm leaving high school, going into college. We pair them with mentors, so CPAs working in the field now, so they can get a better understanding of what CPAs do. When we look at national research, there is this thought that accounting is all about math, and it's really not. Accounting is a really great way to help your community. I come on this program and talk about how we can help small businesses. And when we look at what young people are interested in, particularly young black males, they're really interested in being entrepreneurs and helping small businesses. And a great way to do that is by becoming a CPA. So the InkPass Scholars Program is supported by our member organizations. This year we have a premier sponsor in Forvis, and also big help from PwC and Deloitte. And they help financially support this program because it's a 12-month intensive program where we take about 25 students through a intensive look at what the opportunities are in becoming a CPA. And over the last 10 plus years, we've brought 236 students through the program, and 63% of them end up studying business and accounting in college. And now, it's a long game, right? Because we're starting in high school. We're starting to see licensed CPAs entering the profession in ways that we can really diversify the applicant pool. To inform our strategy with the Scholars Program and other programs and services we offer, we've partnered with the Center for Audit Quality, and they have done some extensive research into see what motivates students, who serves as good mentors, and what these students ultimately want to achieve in their careers. And we will share some more information, a link to this survey information. Those students who are eligible to participate in the InkPass Scholars Program meet 3 criteria. 1, they are enrolled in high school, typically in their junior or senior year. They are an ethnic minority. And 3, they have a GPA of 2.5 or above. We will also provide you with information on how you can apply or how you can share information with a student you might know who wants to apply.
Business, equity, and opportunities. Extra.
Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. Time to talk accounting and bookkeeping with the CFO here at Wish TV and Circle City Broadcasting, Ty Shea. Ty, thanks. Second part of a conversation we're having, sort of bringing folks back to basics, things they'll need to deal with, whether they're a numbers person or not. Financial ratios. The good news is I have no idea what that is, so please start from the very big basics.
Yeah, sure. So from a broad standpoint, financial ratios are a great way to quickly and efficiently be able to potentially assess the viability, the health, the efficiency of a business using different formulas that can be taken from information from a business's financial statements. Mm-hmm. And they can be, some ratios can look at, for instance, how efficiently you turn sales into cash, which is really the end goal for any business. You make the sale. How quickly do you turn that sale into money that comes into your business? Or looking at liquidity ratios, right? So looking at how short-term assets like accounts receivable versus short-term cash needs or outflows or accounts payable. A healthy company has certainly more, at the very least, has more short-term assets, money coming in that they have claims to than other people have claims to them, which is their accounts payable, right? And so these ratios where, generally you're dividing, numbers or multiplying numbers or coming up with different figures give a real quick glimpse into how healthy a company is. And I'll tell you, for a lot of businesses who are looking to get money from a bank and start a relationship there, that's one thing all bankers look at is looking at financial ratios. And the beautiful thing about financial ratios is they can differ from industry to industry. There are industry norms that go into and they change from industry to industry. And so often there are industry benchmarks that you can compare your company and your business to.
Is it a useful tool to help you make decisions? Like, I may think, I've got this great idea and I just know it'll be a moneymaker. And then you start plugging the numbers in and you go, not unless I do this, or that other thing.
Yeah, it at the very least, they're not an end-all, right? They're an indicator. They're a marker for you. And they provide not necessarily a roadmap. They're not a solutions-based type thing, but they are a way to look back and say, how did we perform? And an indicator of, okay, maybe we need to change something in our model to become more efficient, more profitable, and in that fashion.
We've talked a lot in past conversations about the value of perhaps having somebody else do the numbers work for you if that's not your area of strength, or you just want to make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. In the financial ratio question, is it something that you can learn to, at the very least, use kind of as a thumbnail? It doesn't have to be your final accounting practice, but it can, and maybe something you learn on your own or with the help of an expert, not have to go to somebody every time?
And like anything, financial ratios, there's some really basic ones that still offer very valuable insight, and then there's more complicated ones, and it depends on your individual needs. And yes, you could run down a hand full of ratios that like a current ratio or a debt to equity ratio or things like that. They're very basic and provide great insight into your performance. And then you can definitely get in the weeds and really, dive in with both feet and enlist the help of a professional if need be, to really get a deep understanding of how your business is performing. And again, it comes down to the individual business. Not every business needs 30 financial ratios to tell you what you already know in a lot of cases. Sometimes there is a certain amount of confirmation that goes along with those as well.
I always like when you get the light in your eyes that says, maybe I could bring somebody into the world of accounting and bookkeeping, even if they're from something completely different.
Jump in.
That's Ty Shea talking financial ratios. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Scott.
Every week we take a look at a different industry through the focus of the local entrepreneurs doing business in it. Today we focus on the area known as Sobro, South Broad Ripple, at a local small business building a big reputation, thriving even in a mega store world.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
Kent Henry is the co-owner of Heritage Clothier and Home, a shop featuring an eclectic mix of home decor and gift items with a focus on menswear.
Heritage Clothier and Home it's a coming home story. I was born and raised on a farm here in Indiana. My family settled here in 1820. And when I got done with high school, I was supposed to go off to college, but I decided that I wanted to open my own business. I was 17 years old, and I opened my own business, and I had businesses here in Indianapolis, and then moved to South Florida, had businesses in South Florida and Massachusetts, Cape Cod, and but all my family's here. I was born and raised here, and it just was time to come home. So with all of those business experiences, it's called Heritage Clothier and Home because it's part of our heritage. It's our Indiana heritage. It's our retail heritage. So this store is like a mini department store because it basically is a little bit of each part of all of that journey, all brought to one place at one time towards the end of one's life. And I wanted to spend more time with family. I got grandkids, and I love Indianapolis and the community here, so it was just time to come home. It's a lot harder than it looks. A lot harder. When we first opened the store, we'd have younger people come in and said, "Oh my God, you're doing exactly what I want to do." And I'd say to them, "Well, if you want to work 60 hours a week for less than minimum wage, let's sign you up." I'd also say that because I've been in business for myself for over 40 years, when the downs come, the economic downturns or COVID or whatever, it knocks you to your knees. And you have to have a lot of fortitude to be able to stand up. And I'll honestly admit, when COVID came, I did not know I had one more in me because I've gone through the economic downturns. I've gone through, in South Florida, the hurricanes. But it was just like, well, put on your big boy pants and get back in there and make a run at it. And as I said to people when they came in and said, "I can't believe you survived COVID," and I was like, "No, I'm just going to stay in business out of spite." So you're not taking me down now. I think Indiana and Indianapolis in particular is very welcoming and very easy to work with. I've not seen any governmental obstacles in any way of wanting to do what we need to do to grow our business. I know that some states it's more difficult, some cities it's more difficult, but I think Indiana is a very business-friendly state, and Indianapolis is definitely a very business-friendly city. And as this city continues to grow, it's just drawing more and more people in, which is exciting. I mean, the tech industry has exploded here, and with that has come talent, and has come art, and has come other things that only makes our community better. And so it's a blessing. We're very fortunate because we're in men's fashion. The industry is very vibrant, very creative. There's new designers all the time. So that is refreshing and inspires me, because their excitement about what they're doing inspires me to get excited about it. So, I've been in the men's fashion business for 20, 30 years. So it's just continuing to work hard. As far as Indianapolis goes, this town's just booming. Just honestly, it's just amazing. Every single time I turn around, I see something more that this city just took it to another level. It definitely helps the business to participate in the community. There's a statistic that when you shop local, 68 cents of every dollar you spend stays in your community. When you buy online, between 8 and 10 cents stays in your community. And that's mostly just the drivers who are delivering the product. That 68 cents makes a huge difference in everybody's lives here, because I eat at the local restaurant, I shop at the local grocery store, but it also means we can donate our time and energy to local nonprofits. And with the success of a business comes a responsibility to lift the entire community up. This needs to be a rising tide that lifts all boats. And as long as it's a win, I'm a strong believer in look for the win-win-win. And then pretty much where we're somewhat in the camp of don't ever say no, even though there's many times when I feel like I should have said no, but you just can't. You have to say yes and jump in with both feet.
Our thanks again to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast. We hope you found it enlightening, useful, and inspiring. You'll find more information about the show on our website, BEOshow.com. You can watch Business Equity and Opportunities Sunday mornings at 10 on Wish TV, or live stream it through wishtv.com. Each week we provide 7 full segments with topics ranging from how to get started and how to access capital to the day-to-day running of your business and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. We feature business news and trends and always share a success story from one of our contributors. Join us next time for more insights into the world of small business. Be sure to sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable, up-to-date information. And if you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, please email us. The address is beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for listening.
Watch the Business Equity and Opportunity Show on Wish TV and access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at BEOshow.com. You can find more podcasts from Wish TV on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.